Oj, 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 Lance Stroll som missar. Oj, 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 oj.
Aura. Before it took a form of a brain-rot word, it actually meant the pinnacle of charisma and coldness. And these drivers were the epitome of aura itself. I've listed out some cold moments grown out of these drivers that made history legendary. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. What's aura without including the Iceman? Starting off the list at the 2006 Monaco Grand Prix, Kimi was holding the second place when his McLaren developed a heat shield failure at around lap 50. His car caught fire and he had to retire. That's when this man parked his car at the end of the tunnel and walked straight to his yacht to chill with his friends instead of returning to his team garage.
To win it at one point.
Disaster. What's happening there is obviously the car was running pretty close to its maximum temperatures in racing conditions. Slow down, stop the air going through the side pods and the radiators. There are no fans on these cars.
We're pretty strong, and it looks like yet another mechanical failure and a long walk back through the tunnel. That's a good 20 to 25 minutes to the paddock from there. Plenty of time to have some thoughts about what you do about this situation. Ted Kravitz.
Yeah, and his race had already been ruined, hadn't it, James, because he was going to go longer.
Seventh place, got a lot of time to find, but he's got a big gap in front of him. We're going to now see.
Rare indeed. There is Kimi Räikkönen. He's not even gone back to the paddock. He's got his shirt off. He's on his boat, which has a splendid name, One More Toy. He's with some of his best mates from Finland who've consumed their own weight in champagne and beer.
Sheesh, that was tough. The next one is tougher. The 2005 Suzuka GP saw this close battle for position between Alonso and Schumacher. On lap 20, Alonso closed into Schumacher, overtaking him around the outside at the deadly 130R corner at the speed of 208 miles per hour. Schumacher, a man who built his reputation on bullying and intimidation, had no other choice other than to leave way for the late-breaking Alonso. Later, when Alonso was interviewed by journalist Nigel, he said, "At times like that, I always remember that Michael had 2 kids." The next one also involves Schumi, but this time, he's the angry one. The 1998 Belgian Grand Prix was one of the most chaotic races in history. And to add to the icing of the cake, pack leader Schumacher crashed into David Coulthard's car on lap 25 in an attempt to lap him. And what happened next was just straight out of a movie. Angry Schumacher stormed into McLaren's garage like he was about to beat the hell out of them. He really seemed he would have, but the intervention of pit crew saved Coulthard's ass. From that, let's jump to a place where one of the most iconic celebrations took place. 2013 Indian Grand Prix witnessed Sebastian Vettel dominating that race, winning comfortably with his RB9. The iconic stuff was after his win when he pulled off a celebration, where he bowed down to his Red Bull in front of the Indian fans, a celebration considered one of the coldest of all time.
Because he has won every Grand Prix we've had here. We don't know if he has taken all 3 wins in 3 years as he gives praise to his car.
This might be out of the blue, but what if I tell you that Nigel Mansell was a taxi driver? The winner of the 1991 British Grand Prix, Nigel Mansell, was cruising the cool-down lap when he saw Senna, the second-place holder, stuck without transportation back to the pits. Mansell quickly offered Senna a lift in his Williams FW14.
British enthusiast, and Nigel Mansell stops to take his rival Ayrton Senna back to the pits. "On your way, Nigel," says Senna with a tap on the helmet. "Get off it," he says to the official or the spectator who comes. Well, you know, there has been a lot of talk about bad blood between Nigel Mansell and Ayrton Senna. This proves that there is not any bad blood.
And that also proves that it was a jolly good idea to put that camera on the front facing backwards, because we can get a look at both of them. Crowd have come over the fences. Has become traditional here now in the last few years. And in fact, that's brave stuff by Senna, because you need a lot of strength to hold on to one of those.
This photo is surely a hard one. Look, he's also hitting the King Baldwin's pose. Talking about photos, the next one is harder than this. The 2018 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix ended with Alonso announcing his retirement from the sport. As a farewell gesture, the top two places of that race, Hamilton and Vettel, along with Alonso, did a couple of donuts together on the track. Everyone is a Ferrari fan. Even if they say they're not, they're a Ferrari fan. I don't know how much I believe Seb, but this really made me think. The 2002 US Grand Prix was totally dominated by the Ferrari drivers, Schumacher and Barrichello. At the last lap, they planned to cross the finish line together, which gave birth to arguably the best photographed aura-filled moment in Ferrari's history. Barrichello won that race by a margin of 0.011 seconds, but I'll tell you that was a real show-off by Ferrari. Have you ever seen a racer on track without a helmet? It's not possible, right? But Mark Webber was an exception. In his last race, the 2013 Brazilian Grand Prix, Webber famously removed his helmet on the cool-down lap. While something like that would typically result in a fine or a ban, Webber couldn't care less, as it was his last career race.
Now I know we made it pretty difficult for you, but it's a very good drive, good racecraft, good pace. Nice job, mate. Mixture one, please, mixture one, and use all the curves if possible.
Voilà, merci à toi pour tout ce que tu as fait. Lui a-t-on dit avant qu'il enlève son...
An iconic farewell for an iconic man. This one is the coolest celebration out there. Young Hamilton had just won his second championship at the 2014 US Grand Prix, and this was his iconic celebration. At the 2019 Canadian Grand Prix, Vettel crossed the line first, but was given a 5-second penalty, resulting in Hamilton winning the race. But Vettel disagreed with the decision and did a cold gesture. Cold means ice, and the Iceman comes in again. At the 2002 Belgian Grand Prix, Oliver Panis had an engine failure right after the Redelion turn, starting to throw out massive clouds of smoke. Kimi was behind Oliver, and despite seeing the entire track covered in smoke, he did not lift his foot from the throttle.
Extraordinary, one of the most remarkable things I've seen in 12 years of Grand Prix racing. It could have been an accident, it could have been a fire, it could have been anything, and he hurled his car in.
Speaking of smoke, this might be the peak of aura. A person who was nearly pronounced dead and had his last rites done by a church father, but came back to racing in just 6 months, telling all to fuck off. That was Niki Lauda, the survivor of the 1976 Nürburgring crash. What else could be better? When this man walked out from a fire at the 2020 Bahrain GP crash, staring death at its face, Romain Grosjean managed to release himself from the burning wreck, jumping the barrier and walking off.
There's Romain Grosjean.
Unbelievable.
Let me know how you would rank these moments in your list, and if you found these moments tough, you gotta watch my other videos too.